What if I told you that one of the most respected presidents of India, the man known as the Missile Man, started his life selling newspapers just to afford school? This is the story of A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, a boy from a tiny town who carried dreams bigger than rockets and showed an entire nation how to aim for the stars. Abdul Kalam was born in 1931 in Rameswaram, a small coastal town in Tamil Nadu, India. His father was a boat owner, his mother a homemaker. The family was poor, but rich in values. As a child, Kalam would wake up at 4 a.m. to study, then run to deliver newspapers before school to help support his family. He wasn't the brightest student at first, but he was curious. He loved learning, especially science. His teachers noticed his hunger to know more. One teacher once pointed to the sky and told him, "Kalam, look at the birds flying. If you study hard, one day you will fly beyond the clouds." Those words lit a fire inside him. Money was always a problem. His parents could barely afford his schooling. Many times, Kalam thought he might have to drop out. But scholarships, teacher support, and his own relentless discipline kept him going. He studied physics, then aerospace engineering. Even then, his journey wasn't smooth. He failed multiple times in exams and projects. But every failure only fueled him to work harder. Kalam's dream was to become a fighter pilot. He applied to the Indian Air Force. Out of hundreds of candidates, only 8 were chosen. Kalam was ranked 9th. His dream of being a pilot was shattered. He was heartbroken. But instead of quitting, he asked himself, "If not flying planes, can I build them?" That single shift in perspective changed everything. Kalam joined the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, and later the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. In the 1960s, India was far behind in technology. Many doubted whether India could ever launch its own satellites or missiles. But Kalam and his team refused to accept limitations. With scarce resources, second-hand equipment, and makeshift labs, they built India's first satellite launch vehicle. In 1980, India successfully launched the Rohini satellite into orbit. It was a historic moment, and Abdul Kalam was at the heart of it. Kalam went on to lead projects that developed India's missile systems, Agni, Prithvi, and more. These achievements gave India strength, confidence, and global respect. He became known as the Missile Man of India. But what made him special wasn't just science. It was his humility. Despite global recognition, he lived simply. He wore no luxury suits, only his iconic bushy hair and simple clothes. He never married, dedicating his life to knowledge and service. In 2002, Kalam was elected as the 11th President of India. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't born into power. But he was loved. Students adored him. Young people saw him as a role model. He spent more time in classrooms than in political meetings. He inspired millions with his message, "Dream, dream, dream." Dreams transform into thoughts, and thoughts result in action. Even after his presidency, he kept traveling across India, meeting students, giving speeches, writing books. He never stopped teaching. On July 27, 2015, while giving a lecture to students at IIM Shillong, Kalam collapsed on stage. He passed away doing what he loved most, inspiring the next generation. The entire nation mourned. People didn't just lose a scientist or a president. They lost a teacher, a guide, a dreamer. Abdul Kalam's journey matters because it's proof that greatness has nothing to do with where you're born. He wasn't rich. He wasn't privileged. He faced rejection, poverty, and failure. But he turned every obstacle into fuel. He showed us that true success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others as you climb. Think about it. A boy who sold newspapers became the President of India. A student who once struggled in class became one of the world's top scientists. A man who faced rejection as a pilot built rockets that touched the sky. His life reminds us, your background doesn't define your destiny. Your persistence, discipline, and belief do. So the next time you feel your dreams are too big, remember Abdul Kalam. When you feel like giving up, remember the boy who woke at 4 a.m. to study and still delivered newspapers. When you face rejection, remember the man who turned failure as a pilot into victory as a scientist. When you think one person can't make a difference, remember the president who inspired an entire generation to dream. Here's the truth. If Abdul Kalam could rise from a small town in Rameswaram to the highest office in the country, so can you. Your dreams may look impossible today, but with hard work, discipline, and belief, tomorrow they can lift you higher than you ever imagined. So dream big. Work hard. Never give up. Because, as Kalam said himself, you have to dream before your dreams can come true.